True believers, tonight on Geek Tank, can Finger Pointing Man explain to you that we are going to talk about Denver Comic Con? Yes, he can.
Geek Tank.
Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. You got just one ring that'll rule them all. Hoopy fruit, remember your towel. Get your Uru hammers and your Needler guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Use Valerian steel if it'll get you to come to the Geek Tank. To the Geek Tank, the Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
Hi, I'm Guy,
I'm Troy.
and this is Geek Tank for August 1st, 2014.
Happy birthday! It's Guy's birthday today. He is the answer to life, universe, and everything.
It was actually my birthday yesterday, but that's okay. That's okay.
It continues on.
It's an eternal thing. I see. It's time for Working for the Geekend.
Working for the Geekend, where I talk to you about geekiness in relative form to the weekend of this weekend, which, as Guy has already mentioned, August 1st. So, first off, movies. The big cosmic level geek thing that's happening today is the release of Guardians of the Galaxy. Lots of people's heads have been exploding thinking about this movie. And it's one of those where I'm super excited to see it because it's a Marvel superhero film, but not because I know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy other than there's a really awesome raccoon with a gun that talks.
Has Zoe Saldana in it.
It has, yes, but...
Or Uhura from Star Trek, or the new Star Trek.
But still... And speaking of Star Trek...
There we go!
Nice timing. Lots of craziness happened with Nathan Fillion because people were speculating because they heard he was going to be in the film that he's going to be some huge name from Marvel. And I guess very recently, if you pay close attention to the commercial, you see it's just a guy in the background, which I think was a hilarious, probably practical joke by James Gunn.
Might also be a hilarious joke by Nathan Fillion, who's notorious for those things too.
He is shiny like that.
He is.
Other movies coming out that you may be interested in, if you're interested in horror films, is Cabin Fever Patient Zero, which is kind of a prequel, because they already had Cabin Fever, and then Cabin Fever Part 2, and this is Cabin Fever 3, but it's taking place before. Those of you not familiar with it, well, Cabin Fever 1 was directed by Eli Roth, who's mostly known famously for the Hostel films. And I love him in the Quentin Tarantino film Inglourious, word I probably shouldn't say here. You can look that up. And but yeah, it's zombie-like disease that people get and get all feral and bitey. And when they bite, then you become a zombie. It's called Cabin Fever. So it's coming out.
I get feral, but then I shave, and it's okay.
And then everything's cool.
Everything's cool.
Awesome. Video game news coming out for the PS Vita and the 3DS on July 20th. This already came out July 29th. Coming out on July 29th, already out, is Lego Ninjago Nindroids, which is a horrible disease that ninjas get in their rear end when they end up getting the Nindroids.
It's so sad whenever I've seen
Yeah.
pictures on the internet. You can Google anything.
And when I first saw, I thought it was not Ninjago because I thought it was Ninja Go.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go!
Like, go Ninja Go, go Ninja Go.
And in Japanese, it would be pronounced Ninja Go.
Ninja Go.
But
So
we have to Americanize
if you're
it.
into ninjas and Lego ninjas, or specifically the
Or
Lego
Indigo.
Ninjago and
I like
Nindroids,
It's a good game.
yeah, and you have a PS Vita or a 3DS, then there you go. Also, video games, and I know lots of people are excited about this, and I'd be excited about it even more had I played the first one, is the remastered version of The Last of Us, which again, zombie-esque type stuff, and it's gotten amazing reviews, and there's talks of a movie coming out, and it's for PS3. Now they're remastering it to have it come out for PS4, which I assume is going to be better graphics. I don't know if there's additional content added to it or not, but it's the type of game I want to play.
Yeah.
And the big news is Myth and Legends conventions, or also known as MalCon. You can look that up under www.malcondenver.com. It's a convention that focuses on Harry Potter, Game of Thrones is added to the mix. Doctor Who. I think My Little Pony's thrown in there. Not My Little Pony, somebody's Little Pony. And it's taking place at the Tivoli campus, or at the Tivoli on the Auraria campus, 900 Auraria Parkway, from August 8th to August 10th. Check them out. It's a cool convention. This is their 2nd year in existence.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that's working for the Geekend. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Mariah coming to you from my house, and this is Book of the Geek. I'm going to start with a book I probably read first when I was 10 years old. It's The Ordinary Princess by MMK. I've never read anything else by this author, and I think she does mostly more adult stuff. But this one's a book for young adults and mostly for young girls, although boys might enjoy it too. The Ordinary Princess is a typical fairy tale. It's got a curse and princesses and kings and forests and all those sorts of things, but the lessons that are taught by it are not about finding your prince or, everything being made better by being beautiful, but really about finding true love despite all the obstacles put in your way, and how it's not really that important to be beautiful or a princess. It's got really charming illustrations. I don't know if you can see that. Guy can probably come up with a better version later on. It's a really nice book for reading aloud to children or reading as an adult because you happen to be an adult who loves young adult books, like me. If you've been watching this segment, you've probably picked up that I'm a little bit of a word nerd. That's why I love Simon Winchester's The Meaning of Everything. It's a departure for me because it's nonfiction, which I don't read nearly as much of as I do fiction, and most of it I don't consider geeky. This one is. It's the story of the creation of the Oxford English Dictionary, which took over 50 years, went through some 3 editors, and was much more difficult than they had anticipated at first. The book is kind of funny in a dry way and much more interesting than you'd think, given that it's about writing a dictionary. The audiobook version, if you are a person who enjoys audiobooks, is especially good because the person they have reading the audiobook is very clever and has a very pleasant to listen to voice. But the paper version is pretty good too. And if you are a word nerd like me, you would definitely enjoy it. And this has been Book of the Geek. Troy and Guy, back to you.
That was amazing. I can't remember what it was because I have short-term memory loss. So, Guy's going to talk to you about something very near and dear to his heart. Oatmeal, but not the kind you eat, which is good for your heart as well. But Oatmeal, the webcomic. And Tesla, the cars. And Tesla, the museum. Like, how is that connected with Oatmeal? Well, Guy is about to educate you on that.
So let's start real quick with The Oatmeal. So The Oatmeal is a comic that's written by a guy named Matthew Imam. And it started on July 6th, 2009, and he's been running it since then. So it's a pretty good run. 5 years is not bad at all. In 2012, he was making $500,000 a month.
That's all?
That's all. And he said 75% of that's merchandising, which is true. He's got a number of books out there that are rather funny, and they're bringing in a lot of money. But he's also got 25% ad work on that, which is good. I don't make that at all on my comic strip, which is kind of sad.
You do a webcomic?
Did you know that? I do a webcomic as well. It's at springscomic.com. Because anytime I can plug it, I will. There you go. Anyway, so he had done this this webcomic, and it's very funny, and it's very clever. And in recently, in 2013, he was sued by a website called Funny Junk. Funny Junk was this conglomeration site.
It's like a warehouse of web comics and things where they pulled everything funny and did not generate any original stuff, took other people's funny
Took
stuff.
other people's funny things.
Big no-no in the world of comics.
But even worse than that, I mean, because of course you're taking all the revenue away from the oatmeal. But more importantly, they were stripping it, so it didn't have his name or the comic strip or anything like that.
Taking away credit.
Yeah, taking away the credit. That's a really bad thing. So he asked them first. He asked them to take it off, and they wouldn't. They had no control over it, and there was nothing they could do. So he smeared them in one of his comics, which of course he's got millions of viewers. So
Like cream cheese on a bagel.
like cream cheese on a bagel, smeared them. So that was interesting. So they sued him for defamation. So he promptly said, "Well, here's what I'll do. Instead of paying you $20,000, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise $20,000, take a photograph of it, along with a picture that I will draw of a bear and your mom
In a compromising position.
in a compromising position, and I will then send that to you, and then I will donate the money to the National Wildlife Foundation for the bear and the American Cancer Society." That he ended up raising in an Indiegogo in 4 days $220,000. Bam, just like that. So he donated all of that because he was making $500,000 a month. So one difference doesn't make. Anyway, that was really cool, but that's an amazing power. But what happened next was that he bought a Tesla Model S, which is an electric car. Elon Musk's company, Elon Musk who does SpaceX. So he bought this Model X, and then he decided he really wanted to save Tesla's last laboratory, which is at the Wardenclyffe Tower. It's his last laboratory, and it was up for sale. So he went on ahead and he raised the money, $1.7 million, for that, to buy the land. And he bought the land and he started to build a museum, but he needed more money. So amazingly, he wrote another comic, which he talked about his love for his Tesla, also in compromising positions. And then he went on ahead and challenged Elon Musk and said, if you really love the idea of Tesla and everything like this that the man stood for, donate. And would you believe it? The man wrote back to him and called him on the phone and donated $1 million.
That's all?
That's all. But he donated $1 million and a supercharger for Teslas.
Oh, that's the icing.
That's the icing on the cake. We've talked in the past about Calvin and Hobbes and Bill Watterson changing the way that comics worked. And we've talked about Charles Schulz changing the way that comics were. But this is unprecedented. Mm-hmm. This is a comic artist who's changing and challenging large things,
this is
big
a
things.
Social power on epic proportion.
This really is. This is an amazing social power for one comic artist to have. I think that's incredible. Mm-hmm. And I mean, more power to you, Matthew. Totally more power to you. You rock, dude.
Awesome work. Here's your geek crown.
Yeah, here's your geek crown. You win. So, that's about that.
Impressive work.
It is. So, ringing? What's that about? Ringing? You're not even a real phone. And you're ringing?
I got this. We'll be back after this.
What? I forgot my snow brush.
And we're back. Well, that was pretty cool.
Everything's cool.
Everything is cool. And you'll be singing that for a long time.
Like the bands that stretch out one syllable words to be 30 syllables, like when they redid the Knocking on Heaven's Door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door, war, war.
That's actually a word. D-O-W-O-W-O-W-E-R.
Well, with the interwebs now it is.
Yeah, it is.
So, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, one of us, not him, went to Comic-Con. Denver Comic-Con, that is.
Brazilian aliens.
Now
Anyway.
they're aliens. Well, I guess if they're from Brazil and they're in
It would
America,
definitely be
then
aliens.
aliens.
So we did, we did Denver Comic Con. Well, you did Denver Comic Con.
Yes, I did it.
Bikini waxes for
Did
me.
it well. And our awesome trooper Kevin was there.
Yes, he was indeed.
And so we're finally getting around to bringing you more footage of that. So you can see it.
So I can finally see what happened. So tell me a little bit about what we're going to see first.
I'm sporting my Denver Comic Con shirt.
He is.
Which, if you go back and watch the last episode, you'll hear us talk in detail about Batman and Lucifer and stuff.
Yeah.
And since we already did that, you need to go watch that episode.
Go watch
if you
that
want
episode. Don't worry about that.
Right. So, first of all, since I mentioned Kevin,
Yes.
he's a huge Star Wars fan.
He is indeed.
Extremely camera shy, so you'll rarely ever see him in front of the camera.
Yep.
And he went to the 501st, did quite a few extensive things. So he covered those for us. So let's cut to some of the 501st footage.
Here we go. 501st footage.
That was Dave Filoni, by the way, if anybody doesn't know who that was. That was my birthday. It's my dream job.
Wasn't that was a little short for a stormtrooper?
Yeah, it was a little
Stormtrooper short.
Stormtrooper.
So yeah, then Kevin has intentions of joining the 501st and making his own armor.
That's gonna be so
And
cool. And we
when
will show you
the
that
process. So if you want to make your own armor or join the 501st, you will have a how-to.
And you'll know that it's Kevin because it'll be from here down all the time because he doesn't want his face on the screen. Because he's that way. He's horrible.
But that's fine. Not everybody likes to be a geek trovert.
Geek trovert. That's a word. That's a word.
Now it is because of the interwebs.
So did you do any cosplay work?
I wore a cape.
So
In fact, look here in this picture of me next to Lily, and you can see my cape.
And he's cooler with his cape. Well, what about that one? Oh, look at this one. You're up on a wall. It's incredible.
Doing a Batman style.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, don't explain that to your children. So, Lily in her cosplay, I actually went with her and covered her, getting her makeup. Amazing makeup. And so, where it's next little bit, it's going to be her doing her cosplay and some of the cosplay contest.
Sweet.
I'm here with Prophetics Cosmetics, and I'm about to get my body painted and my makeup done for my Black Lantern Wonder Woman costume for Denver Comic Con 2014. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Audrey Hughes. I'm the owner and chief artist of Prophetics Cosmetics. We're based here in Denver. Completely ecologically sound cosmetics company, and we specialize in stage and cosplay and really dramatic stuff. And we have the ability to make more custom colors than any other cosmetic line I've ever seen. So that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, so I got out of the car and I was all makeup and I looked great, and then my belt broke, and that was terrible, and it was the D-ring fastening technique that I learned from Kamui, so I'm confused as to why it didn't work. Like, it had super glue holding it in there. So we went on a mad hunt for super glue. Eventually we found Kevin, my friend, and he rushed to Walgreens and got me some super glue. So I'm waiting for it to dry, but one of the things, I hate being that person, but when people walk by and want my picture, it's like, no, please don't take my picture because the costume isn't complete and I want you to see it in all its complete glory and everything. So, but it'll look great. I think it'll be fixed in a second, and I'll put it back on, and then I'll pose for like a billion pictures.
Hi, I'm Troy with Rocky Mountain Geek Tank. You may have seen me on Rocky Mountain Geek Tank and in your backyard. I would like for you to check out Geek Street Society. They are a really cool podcast group that plays music and has really interesting podcast shows, such as Geeks and Goblins, where they podcast themselves playing Dungeons & Dragons. Check them out at www.geekstreetsociety.com.
Alright guys, right now I would like you to please clap real hard for Lily Rutledge Ellison as Black Lantern Wonder Woman from the Blackest Nights DC Comics!
That was incredible. How did she get the glowies?
So the glow in the eyes was a special makeup
Uh-huh.
that she had put on her eyelids, and she had a black light in her tiara.
Mhm.
So when she closed her eyes, it made her entire eyes look like they were glowing, which is the way the character looks in the comic.
Right, because
Which
it's
is black,
zombie-ized or whatever.
Black
she
Lantern
was, yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then she did this great material on the outer trim, so when you took a still picture of her with a flash, that's what got the light up of all of that.
Nice.
Yep. And
That's incredible.
follow Lily as Lilatron, which is her cosplay persona, on Facebook.
Yep.
And check that out here.
It's right here.
Check out all of her awesome costumes, like her page. Shoot her a hi on the posts and say your costuming is amazing.
Because it is.
And not only did she do that costume, but she did the costume collection with her cosplay friends of the all-female Firefly crew.
I saw that on
Pinup,
Facebook.
pinup style.
And we even posted that here.
Yes, and not only did you see it, but Nathan Fillion saw it, and he
And
commented on it.
That was so cool. We get to
It's
see
so
it
cool. We're doing
twice.
it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shiny.
Okay. That was cool.
And I have one last thing I'd like to show.
No, I don't want
Although-
to see that. Oh.
Okay, then I have a different last thing I'd like to show.
Okay, good, good.
unspecifically connected to Denver Comic Con, and definitely a really fun time that I had was a burlesque group, Ooh La La, did Comic Con flavored burlesque. And we can't show as much as we'd like to show, but I'd love to just show a tiny bit of it because the creativity behind it and the choreography put into the dancing and the connection with the music, it really is an art form.
It really is.
And they are very geeky about what they do. So I'd like to show a little bit about them and what we did, and that was a blast.
That was pretty
So
cool.
next year, you must not get kidnapped.
Okay, the Brazilians. I've already, I worked out a deal with them. I had to kind of. It was anyway. We won't go into that right now.
Everything's cool.
Everything's cool though.
It was a hairy situation, but it's no longer hairy. Denver Comic Con 2015.
2015, we'll both be there, and so will you, or be square.
Or you will be there at least in spirit by proxy through us.
Yeah, we'll just carry you around, all your spirits behind us. It'll be great. People will be like, dude, what's with all the people? And we're like, hey, they're with us.
Yeah. And then, do we know what we have coming up next week?
We do! We do! But...
We don't.
We don't. No, actually.
Aha!
Next week, we're going to be doing RPG etiquette. And...
So when I have
gamers.
a rocket-propelled grenade, the proper etiquette for blowing up stuff.
Exactly. If you're going to blow up things,
that can't
point
be.
This side towards enemy.
That can't be accurate. And now the NSA is like, follow them, and we get a subscribe and a like from them, then great.
Nice. NSA,
mission
welcome
accomplished.
to Geek Tank. It's awesome, man. Good
Nerd
to see
Society Association.
Nerd.
And that kind of etiquette also expands gamer etiquette in general.
If you're going to go over to somebody's house and you're going to play Risk for 3 days, because Risk is serious.
Pick up your Mountain Dew cans.
Seriously. Man.
So we'll cover that.
Don't put them upside down.
So we're covering etiquette, and I'm sorry, I have short-term memory loss. We're covering etiquette
and the Conclave of
Gamers.
Which we
just there. Join us next week, and we'll see you then.